Great. So we start. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda. Sapitani Swapana Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Bhagavad Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahajana Raghunatham Vipam Sajivam Sadhaitam Sadhaitam Janasiddhi Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganam Radhe Vrindavan Shri Sukhi Vanchakalpadari Sri Pasi Pati Saranam Adani Vaishnavi Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Vedanta Shri Sadhguru Arun Shri Mukham Karoti Vachalam Prabhu Mundai Shri Guru Dev just names the brain. Hare Krishna, so welcome. So, reading Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 8. We are on text 41. Is it? Text 41. Shishta Bhajana, Chandra Garbe Janila Shri Jasa Vrindavana. Okay, Anupama Madhuri, you can read.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, done with Pranam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Narayani eternally eats the remnants of the food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur was born of her womb. Purport. In text 43 of the Gaur Ganodeshika Dipika, a book written by Kavi Karnapura, that describes all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and who they previously were, there is the following statement regarding Narayani. Ambika Swasha Yasmin Namna Srila Klimbika Krishna Chistam Prabhunjana Sheyam Narayani Mata. When Lord Krishna was a child, he was nursed by a woman named Ambika, who had a younger sister named Kilimbika. During the time of Lord Chaitanya's incarnation, the same Kilimbika used to eat the remnants of food left by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Kilimbika was Narayani, who was a niece of Srivas Thakur's. Later on, when she grew up and married, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur was born from her womb. A devotee of Lord Sri Krishna is celebrated in terms of devotional service rendered to the Lord. Thus we know Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur as the son of Narayani. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur notes in this connection that there is no reference to his paternal ancestry because there is no need to understand it. Harish.
Narayani. So, Narayani is the niece of who?
Srinivas Thakur.
Srinivas Thakur.
Shrivas.
Srinivas Thakur.
Yes, sir.
Not Srinivas. Shrivas. Srinivas is a different person. This is Shrivas Thakur. And she is she's the mother of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. So, what is the important point here? Narayani, her name is mentioned here. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj is so mentioning her name. So, according to this purport. So, why is she mentioned?
क्योंकि वो चैतन्य महाप्रभु का उच्छिष्ट खाया करती थी.
Yes. And therefore,
और वो श्रीवास ठाकुर की भांजी थी, नीस थी.
And she gave birth to an acharya.
हाँ, श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर को जन्म दिया.
yeah. So, what was the point here?
भगवान के भक्त की वो सेवा करती थी, तो वैष्णव सेवा.
No, but she related to Krishna's pastimes. So Krishna's Kimbilika, the childhood friend of Krishna, was born again in Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's pastimes, and she gave birth to an acharya.
No. So, what's the point there? Prabhupada said it, no?
We are talking about her because she has done some devotional service to the Lord. Devotee is celebrated in terms of devotion.
Chaitanya Charitamrita is only about the men, right? And here comes one woman. Right? Whole Chaitanya Charitamrita is about men. But here, one woman is mentioned. So what Prabhupada said,
there is no need to know about Vrindavan Das Thakur's parental lineage here. Is that the point we are referring to?
yeah, but devotee of Lord Shiva is celebrated in terms of devotional service rendered to the Lord. Thus, we know Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur are the son of Narayani. So, why is Narayani mentioned in the pages of Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita? It's not a small thing, right? This is a biography of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with all his his activities, and in all that, I don't know how many verses or all this, one woman's name is mentioned. Why? Just read it.
Because she rendered devotional service to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why it is mentioned.
Yes, the Prabhupada is saying that it doesn't matter man or woman. You are known by
Devotional service, you are known by.
devotional service. All right. A devotee of Lord Shri Krishna is celebrated in terms of devotional service rendered to the Lord. Right? So this is an important thing. If you're capable of rendering service to the Supreme Lord, then you become a celebrity. And if we are just spending our time and life in sense gratification, then who knows us? Right? So because, I read it again. This is Narayana. A devotee of Lord Shri Krishna is celebrated in terms of devotional service rendered to the Lord. Thus, we know Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur are the son of Narayani. But Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is the author of which book?
Chaitanya Mangal.
Chaitanya Mangal. And which became
Chaitanya Bhagavatam.
Chaitanya Bhagwat. Chaitanya Bhagwat. Right? So who is this Vrindavan Das Thakur? The son of Narayani. So similarly, Krishna, we say the son of
Yashodanand.
Yashoda, the son of Devaki, right? Of
Yachishuta?
nephew of who? Krishna, the nephew of who?
Kunti Maharani.
Kunti
You
Devi,
said
right? Kunti Devi. You understanding? That what gives importance to these women that their names are mentioned in Shastra is their relationship with Krishna.
Lord.
All right? So, Vrindavan Das Thakur's father, there is no reference to his paternal ancestry. So, meaning that they doesn't look like they were great devotees, right? The mother is devotee, so she's recorded in the pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the father, most probably, he was not devotee, so nobody knows it. No need to know. Right? Spontaneity. Tanrati Adbhuta Chaitanya Charita Varnana. Yeah. Shravane Shudha Kaila Tribhuvana. What a wonderful description he has given the parsams of Lord Chaitanya. Anyone in the 3 words who hears it is purified. What a wonderful description. Ataiva Bhajaloka Chaitanya Nityananda. Saradika Pave Premananda. Appeal to everyone to adopt the method of devotional service given by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and thus be freed from the miseries of material existence and ultimately achieve the loving service of the Lord. Vrindavana Dasa Kaila Chaitanya Mangala Tahate Chaitanya Lila Vanila Sakala Srila. Okay, who wants to read? Rashmi, read.
Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has written Sri Chaitanya Mangal and therefore therein described in all respects the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya.
Continue.
Text 45. Sutra kari sabalila karila granthana pache vistariya tahara kaila vivarna. He first summarized all the pastimes of the Lord and later described them vividly in detail. Chaitanya Chandrela Lila Ananta Apar Varnite Grantha Haila Vistar. The pastimes of Lord Chaitanya are unlimited and unfathomable. Therefore, in describing all those pastimes, the book became voluminous. Vistara dekhiya kichu sankoch haila man, sutra drita kona lila na kaila varnana. He saw them to be so extensive that he later felt that some had not been properly described. Nityananda Lila Varnane Haila Avesh Chaitanyera Shesha Lila Rahila Avashesh. He ecstatically described the pastimes of Lord Nityananda But the later pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained untold. Te saba lilara sunite vina vrindavana vasi bhaktera utkanthita mana. Devotees of Vrindavan were all very anxious to hear those pastimes. Vrindavane kalpadrume suvarna sadana mahayoga pitha tahan ratna simhasan. In Vrindavan, in a great place of pilgrimage, underneath the desire tree is a golden throne bedecked with jewels. Tatevashi Tate vasi ache sada Vrajendra Nandan Shri Govinda Dev Nama Shakshat Madan. On that throne sits the son of Nanda Maharaj, Shri Govinda Dev, the transcendental Cupid. Raj Sevahaya Tanha Vichitra Prakar Divya Samagri Divya Vastra Alankar. Varieties of majestic service are rendered to Govinda there. His garments, ornaments, paraphernalia are all transcendental. Sahasra seva kare anuksan, sahasra vadane seva na ya varnan. In that temple of Govindji, thousands of servitors always render service to the Lord in devotion. Even with thousands of mouths, one could not describe this service.
Yes, so now Anupama Mishra, can you read?
Hare Krishna. सेवार अध्यक्ष श्री पंडित हरिदास तान्र यश गुण सर्व जगते प्रकाश. In that temple, the chief servitor was Sri Haridas Pandita. His qualities and fame are known all over the world. Purport: Sri Haridas Pandita was a disciple of Sri Anantacharya, who was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. सुशील सहिष्णु संत वंदन गंभीर मधुर वचन मधुर चेष्ट महाधीर. He was gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, grave, sweet in his words, and very sober in his endeavors. सबार सम्मान करता कारण करेण सबार हिता कौटिल्य मात्सर्य हिंसा न जाने ताम्र चिता. He was respectful to everyone and worked for the benefit of all. Diplomacy, envy, and jealousy was unknown to his heart. कृष्णेर ये साधारण सद्गुण पंचश से सब गुणेर तान्र शरीरे निवास. The 50 qualities of Lord Krishna were all present in his body. Purport: in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, the transcendental qualities of Sri Krishna are mentioned. Among these, 50 are primary. Ayam netasu ramyangaha, etc. And in minute quantity, they were all present in the body of Sri Haridas Pandita. Since every living entity is a part of Supreme Personality of Godhead, all 50 of these qualities of Sri Krishna are originally minutely present in every living being. Due to his contact with material nature, these qualities are not visible in the conditioned soul. But when one becomes a purified devotee, they all automatically manifest themselves. This is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12 as mentioned in the text below.
Yes. Okay. So now let's read again those qualities. This is, my God. So the chief servitor in the temple of Govind Devji. So thousands, so see in that temple of Govind Devji, Thousands of servitors always render service to the Lord in devotion. Even with thousands of mouths, one could not describe this service. No, serving the deities is something very, very intimate, extremely intimate. It's just like in any responsible family. If a boy and girl, they get married, then the girl, she has to learn how to serve the husband and how to serve the entire family. And similarly, the boy has to learn how to take care of the girl, right? So there is a lot of, so both boys and girls have to be trained how to be servants. A family succeeds when each member of the family has the mood of servitude, right? If I have the mood of boss, I'm sitting and you're going to serve me, then everything falls apart, right? Why should I do? You should also do, right? So here, and so this service to the deity is an extremely good training ground to develop the attitude of love and care and nurturing. Everybody wants this. I want love, I want care, I want nurturing. So when you are trained in temples, I'm speaking here, this is about taking care of the deities. So thousands of servitors always render service to the Lord in devotion. Just like now, it's the rainy season, all right? So everybody knows that we must boil the water properly, isn't it? Boil the water. Very important to boil the water, right? Maybe I think, everything fatafat anyway, this is just a stone. What does it matter? Whether I give him water straight from the tap or, drinking water. So that's why to be a devotee is very difficult, extremely difficult. So what are his qualities? So his qualities and name are known all over the world. This is Sri Haridas Pandit. So Sri Haridas Pandit was a disciple of Sri Ananta Acharya, who was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. We'll read later how I think Raghav Pandit, I think that's him. So he had sent somebody to bring coconut. And I'm just explaining about how careful, how meticulous the pujaris trained to serve Govindji. And I heard one lecture, Prabhupada is saying that before we go back home, back to Godhead, we need to go through a transition period where we are trained how to serve Radha Govindji. And then he says, and it is already happening here to this sadhana. So say that if you qualify yourself, so before you enter the original Guru Vrindavan, you have to take birth in a place of, training. Then when you become qualified, then you can enter the original Govindji. And Prabhupada says, but here also we're already doing it. So those of us, who get the good fortune of being trained in a proper deity kitchen, deity paraphernalia, it is the greatest of good fortune. So, because the detailed work that you have to do, who does it in their own home?
So, Mataji, what I catch from what you're saying, that it is not about the service so much as to get the training, the right training to do that service.
Yes, yeah, of course, when you wash Krishna's pots, did you leave behind, some wire scrub stuck somewhere and then it gets into the food? Oh, you know, I remember when we were in the kitchen said more important than the cooking is the cleaning. You have to make sure you have cleaned the kitchen. Radharani doesn't accept the cooking, right? If the kitchen is not clean. Gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, grace, sweet in his words, and very sober in his endeavors. So I don't know what is this sober, Mahadhira, meaning that if he's got thousands of, servitors under him, that rendering service to Govind Devji, so they would hear it from him, right? Yeah, I was telling the story of Raghav Pandit. So Raghav Pandit has sent somebody to get the coconuts, all right? So this man went and got coconut, and I think he had his balancing on his head. And when he was stepping into the room, so what he did, so he's got that coconut on his head, right? So with one hand, what he did, he held himself against the ceiling, like that chaukat that you have traditionally. So he held his hand up here so that to keep his balance. Raghav Pandit says, you have touched the ceiling and everybody's dirty feet, the dust has come up there. You have touched the ceiling and then you're touching his coconut. Cannot be offered to the deities. You're going to read about this. Correct. So being a servant, very sober in his endeavors. So meaning he may be gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, grave, and sweet in his words, but very sober in his endeavors. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but I gave one example, right? Tolerate any dirt, any lower standard. Everything has to be pakka. He was respectful to everyone and worked for the benefit of all. Diplomacy, envy, and jealousy were unknown to his heart. So that's one going back here. He was gentle, tolerant, Shushila, Savishnu, Shanta, Vadanya, Gambhir, Madhura Vachana. You're going to have to learn all this by heart. Madhura Cheshta. I'm reciting this verse until I get this sweetness in my words. He was respectful to everyone. He worked for the benefit of all. Diplomacy. Just see this. We're showing servitors. Now he's dealing with thousands. Okay? Thousands of servitors are rendering service to the Lord. But he's the chief servitor, right? The head pujari we call. Right? And the head pujari is being referred to as the what? As what? Sevak Adhyaksha. Right? The chief among the Sevak. Sevara Adhyaksha. Shri Pandit Haridas. So they're servants, they're sevak. Right? I'm not the pujari now. I don't know how you got this title, Krishna's cook, Krishna's pujari. But here it is seva. Right. So he had thousands of sevak under him. But he was gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, brave, sweet in his word, and very sober in his endeavors. Meaning you can't get in Govind Dev Ji's service if you don't have the proper qualification. Right? You won't be able to step in. So there is grooming, and then when you develop a certain quality, then you can enter this realm of Govind Dev Ji's seva. He was respectful to everyone and worked for the benefit of all. Diplomacy, I'm reading this again. Diplomacy, Kutilia, diplomatic. Matsarya, jealousy. Himsa, envy. Na jane tanra chitta. In his heart, he had no diplomacy, envy, and jealousy. Great qualities. So 50 qualities of Lord Krishna were present in his body. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the transcendental qualities of Shri Krishna are mentioned. Among these, 50 are primary, Ayam Neta Suramyanga, and in minute quantity, they were all present in the body of Sri Haridas Pandit. Since every living entity is a part of the Supreme Person Godhead, all 50 of these good qualities of Shri Krishna originally minutely present in every living being. Due to his contact with material nature, these qualities are not visible in the conditioned soul. But when one becomes a purified devotee, they all automatically manifest themselves. So these qualities has been described here. Originally, all the Jeev have them: gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, brave, sweet in words, sober in endeavor, respectful, working for the good of others. What's that? Karena, sabara, hitta. Diplomacy, envy, jealousy, nothing like this. So all good qualities are there in each and every one of us. But when we come in this material world by rubbing against each other, right? And by association with people who are not gentle, not tolerant, who are not peaceful, who are diplomatic, who are jealous and envious, we also become same. Right? So,
What should one do if people around you are like that?
well, we should read Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Again and again and again, we should read to remind ourselves of what we are originally, right? We should take the Sangha. So we are having wrong Sangha by people around us. So therefore, we read Chaitanya Charitamrita to have the correct and proper Sangha. So if again and again we read about them, then we will imbibe their qualities. Shashi, you want to read text 58?
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yash yashti bhakti bhakti akinchana sarve gunesh tatra samasate stiraha harav abhaktasya uto mahad guna manorahin sati dhavato bhahi. Translation. In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifested. However, one who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord. Pandita Bhushanara Shishya Anant Acharya Krishna Premamaya Tanu Udar Sarva Arya. Anant Acharya was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. His body was always absorbed in love of Godhead. He was magnanimous and advanced in all respects. Tanhara Ananta Gune, Kekaru Prakasha, Tunde Priya Shishya Inha, Pandita Haridasa. Anant Acharya was a reservoir of all good qualities. No one can estimate how great he was. Pandit Haridas was his beloved disciple. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhashya, Sri Anant Acharya is one of the eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Previously, during the advent of Lord Sri Krishna, Ananta Acharya was Sudevi, one of the 8 gopis. This is stated in the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika 165 as follows. Anant Acharya Goswami, Ya Sudevi, Pura Vrajai. Anant Acharya Goswami was formerly Sudevi Gopi in Vraja, Vrindavan. In Jagannath Puri or Purushottam Kshetra, there is a monastery known as Ganga Mata Mutt that was established by Anant Acharya. In the disciplic succession of Ganga Mata Mutt, he is known as Vinod Manjari. One of his disciples was Haridas Pandit Goswami, who is also known as Sri Raghu Gopal and as Sri Ras Manjari. His disciple Lakshmi Priya was the maternal aunt of Ganga Mata, a princess who was the daughter of King of Putia. Ganga Mata brought a deity of the name Sri Rashika Raya from Krishna Mishra of Jaipur and installed him in the house of Sarvabhauma in Jagannath Puri. The disciple in the 5th generation of Sri Anant Acharya was Sri Varnamali. In the 6th generation, Sri Bhagwan Das, who was a Bengali. In the 7th generation, Madhusudan Das, who was an Odia. In the 8th generation, Nilambar Das. In the 9th generation, Sri Narottam Das. In the 10th generation, Pitambara Das. And in the 11th generation, Sri Madhava Das. The disciple in the 12th generation is presently in charge of the Ganga Mata monastery. Hare Krishna.
Right, so this is lineage, spiritual lineage, and it's all coming from Ganga Mata Goswami. So she was a princess, and she became a devotee. Okay. So there is this Ganga Mata Mat. So that was established by Ananta Acharya. So in the disciplic succession of Ganga Mata Mat, he is known as Vinod Manjari. So here's another example. We've heard of Narayani. Who's Narayani?
Niece of Srivas.
Of Shivas and
वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की माता
okay, niece of Shivas and mother
वृंदावन दास
Vrindavan.
मदर ऑफ
Vrindavan Das. Who's Vrindavan Das Thakur?
Author of Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangal.
Yes. Okay. So now here's another lady's name, Ganga Mata Goswami. So she was a princess, the daughter of King Puttiya. So she became a great Vaishnavi and she preached and she established, so she had disciples. So in her lineage is coming all these acharyas. You can see, no other woman is mentioned, only men. In her lineage.
Mataji, can you just advise, Mataji, there's so many characters in Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Krishna is very easy to remember since childhood heard it. You know, this is so new, at least for me. So how to remember all these characters, so many characters?
You won't remember, like I just finished reading Mahabharata, and then I had to go to the index. In the index, all the characters were given, who's who, and I didn't know. Oh no, there are hundreds. And do you know how many shlokas are there in Mahabharata? Anybody knows?
1 lakh
Yeah. Yeah. 100,000 shlokas. I just had a Gita class last week, and they were all girls, working girls. I asked how many verses are there in Mahabharata. Nobody knew. So it's very sorry that we don't know how many. Did you all know how many verses are there in Mahabharata? Did you know? You didn't know. Oh, great.
Mataji, 1 lakh?
Yeah, when I was 5 years old, my father told me, and I never forgot. And how many verses are there in Ramayana? Oh my God, you don't know.
24,000.
24,000 verses in Ramayana.
Mataji, 18,000 verses.
Hmm?
I know only about Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses.
How many verses in Bhagavad Gita?
700.
700.
That we know.
So we are not going to remember all, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we know who's Sarvabhaum.
He was an
Mayavadi philosopher.
Mayavadi philosopher,
and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu transformed him by listening to him first and then, educating him.
and
And then he became a disciple to
who is he, Sarvabhaum?
Lalita.
Hmm?
Lalita Sakhi or Vishakha? Lalita Sakhi.
Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya
No,
was the
that-
chief of the Brahmanas
in Orissa.
So you cannot not know his name. His name is mentioned here.
Jagannath Puri.
Anyway, don't worry, the disciple in the 12th generation is presently in charge of the Ganga Mata monastery. So who started that monastery, Ganga Mata's monastery?
Ganga Mata.
Hmm?
Ganga Mata only started it.
That
Anantacharya
monastery,
Goswami.
that monastery,
Anantacharya Goswami.
Ananta Acharya. Who's Ananta Acharya?
Disciple of Gadadhar Pandit.
Sorry?
Disciple of Gadadhar Pandit.
Okay, and
And Guru of Pandit Haridas, who was the chief.
yes. Okay. Guru of Haridas. 61. Chaitanya Nityanande Tandra Parama Vishwas. Chaitanya Charite Tandra Parama Ullas. Pandit Haridas had great faith in Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Therefore, he took great satisfaction knowing about their pastimes and qualities. All right. See, now this is during the time of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu itself. Vaishnavera gunagrahe nadik dosh kai manova kare Vaishnava santosh. He always accepted the good qualities of Vaishnavas and never found fault in them. He engaged his heart and soul only to satisfy the Vaishnavas. Purport. It is a quality of a Vaishnava that he is a dosha darshi. He never sees others' faults. Of course, every human being has both good qualities and faults. Therefore, it is a sajjana gunam icchanti dosham icchanti pamaraha. Everyone has a combination of faults and glories. But a Vaishnava, a sober man, accepts only his immense glories and not his faults. For flies seek souls, whereas honey seek honey. Haridas Pandit never found fault with a Vaishnava, but considered only his good qualities. 1 minute. So we are on text 63. Text 63.
Mataji,
Yes.
this Pandit Haridas, is he
Yeah.
the same Pandit Haridas whose deities are in Vrindavan, the Banke Bihari deities?
I don't know.
No?
I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know. Vaishnavera Guna, no, we are now at text 63. Tuneten ho Chaitanya Mangala, Tanhara Prasade Shumena Vaishnava Sakala. He always had the reading of Shri Chaitanya Mangal, and all the other Vaishnavas used to hear it by his grace. Kathaya Sabha Ujjwala Kare Yen Purna Chandra. Kathaya Sabha Ujjwala Kare Yen Purna Chandra. Nija Gunamrite Paraya Vaishnava Ananda. Like the full moon, he illuminated the entire assembly of Vaishnavas by speaking Shri Chaitanya Mangala, and by the nectar of his qualities, he increased their transcendental bliss. Text 65. Ten hovati kripa kari agya kaila more, gorangera sheshalina varni baratare. By his causeless mercy, he ordered me to write about the last pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So who's that? Who ordered him?
Haridas Pandit.
Yeah, Pandit Haridas. So he ordered who?
Vrindavan, no. Krishna Das.
Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami.
Nadas Kaviraj. Kashishwara Gosanira Shishya Govinda Gosani. Govindera Priya Sevaka Tanra Samanani. Govinda Gosani, the priest engaged in the service of Lord Govinda in Vrindavan, was a disciple of Kashishwar Goswami. There was no servant more dear to the Govinda deity. So now, this is all complicated history, and you're going to hear again and again about this Kashishwar Goswami. Now, different personalities are being introduced. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhasya, Kashishwar Goswami was one of the contemporaries of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was with the Lord in Jagannath Puri. Also known as Kashishwar Pandit, he was a disciple of Ishwara Puri and son of Vasudev Bhattacharya, who belonged to the dynasty of Kanchilala Kanu. His surname was Chaudhuri. His nephew, his sister's son, who was named Rudra Pandit, was the original priest of Vallabhapur, which is situated about 1 mile from the Sri Rampur railway station in the village of Chatara. Installed there are the deities of Radha Govinda and Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashishwar Goswami was a very strong man, and therefore when Lord Chaitanya visited the temple of Jagannath, he used to protect the Lord from the crowds. Another of his duties was to distribute prasadam to the devotees after kirtan. So this Kashishwar Goswami, so he is a contemporary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They both together. And When Govind Dev Ji was installed, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent him to do the worship of Govind Dev Ji.
Mataji, this is the same Govind Dev Ji who's in Jaipur now.
Yes. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur visited this temple at Vallabhapur. At that time, the person in charge was Shaivite, Shri Shiva Chandra Chaudhuri, who was a descendant of Kashishwar Goswami's brother. In Vallabhapur, there was a permanent arrangement to cook 9 kilos of rice, vegetables, and other foodstuff daily. And near the village, there is sufficient land which belonged to the deity, on which this rice was grown. Unfortunately, the descendants of Kashishwar Goswami's brother have sold a major portion of this land, and therefore the deity worship has now been hampered. This has happened many times. This is how the temple deities became poor and poor and poor. All over India. So it is a degradation of the Brahminical culture, the Brahmanas. It is said in the Gona Gano the Desh Dipika that the servant of Krishna in Vrindavan named Bringara descended as Kashishwar Goswami during the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In our household and life, we also sometimes visited this temple of Vallabhapur and took prasadam there at noon. So, who's speaking here?
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada is saying that he also visited this temple of Vallabhapur. The deities of this temple, Shri Radha Govinda and the Gauranga Vigraha, extremely beautiful. Prabhupada is saying extremely beautiful. Near Vallabhapur is a beautiful temple of Jagannath. We sometimes used to take prasad in this Jagannath temple also. These two temples are situated within a 1-mile radius of the Sri Ramapur railway station near Calcutta. All right. So this is sufficient for our memory, right?
So Mataji, this Govind Dev Ji is different than from the Jaipur
Radha,
Govind Dev.
this is
Yeah,
Radha
Yeah.
Radha Govind. And Govind Dev Ji, this is in Vrindavan, right? Described in Vrindavan.
Mataji, I have a question.
Yeah.
Mataji, in that pastime about Mahaprabhu accepting prasadam when in that Brahmana's place where Mayavadi sannyasis were also invited, we learned that just because the holy names were being chanted, Mahaprabhu accepted the bhoga there
Yes.
because the holy names were chanted. But
Yes.
today you were talking about how while worshipping deities, so this is also training and how training of how we will be serving in the spiritual world when we reach there eventually. Uh, so I feel from these two pastimes, if I see, then Mahaprabhu is so merciful, as in he accepts just even when someone chants the holy name. So when we are serving our deities at home, cleanliness standards may not be very high. I try my best, but still, so because of the chanting of the holy names, hopefully Krishna, Radharani, or Mahaprabhu accepts it. Is that correct understanding?
Yes. See, high standard, I don't know what high standard means, but cleanliness, attention when you're cooking, your focus when you're cooking, meditating that you want to please Krishna, this is what we call proper standard. That I'm careful about the heat, I don't burn the things, that if I'm making a drink, I see what's the season, I don't make Krishna catch cold. things like that. And whatever you do for the deities, automatically you yourself, because you're accepting the remnants, so you yourself, you benefit from it.
Mataji, one more extended question in this regards.
Mm.
Sometimes what I've seen is like, some devotees get this bhava that whatever bhava, like milk should not be given with curd or whatever bhav that they have, and then they try to impose it on others also.
Was that milk and curd?
Yeah, like for example, at night, I know that my son wants milk while someone else would prefer curd. So
Hmm.
I need to offer that to Krishna because there are devotees who would be needing it. So now someone would say, oh no, you're doing it, this is not correct. You are giving Krishna milk and curd. He will get acidity or something like that. There are devotees who say like that. So should we impose our bhava on others, or
Well,
if particular? Yes, Mother.
yeah, see, curd, we don't take curd in the night. Before clock latest, we should have, curd, because you catch cold from it. It's not good. Right?
Okay.
I'll have to leave you now. I'll have one
All
minute.
right. Sorry, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so so whoever's having curd in the night when it's actually time for milk, they don't know what is good for their health. They forgot, like, I didn't know, I learned. I didn't know what was good for my health, so I learned. And therefore I followed. Like this doctor told me before 4 o'clock I should have fruits. Don't have fruits after that. I'll get sick. Because she knows my body. So don't have a curd, buttermilk, anything, after 4, 5 o'clock. You'll get sick from it. But a good time is noon, right? So there is logic in all of this. It's not a question of how, just sentimental. No, whatever we are doing, it is good for our health. And therefore, we don't offer it to Krishna because it's also not good for our health. It's not good for Krishna. It's not good for our health. I just said it, right? So if we follow, so yes, it's not whimsical. Cooking for Krishna is not whimsical. There is a menu that is there for breakfast, for Raj Bhoga, for the 4 o'clock, and for the evening, right? For the 7 o'clock and then the supper. There is a menu. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is a kitchen recipe book, you could say. Then we are personal.
Okay, Mataji.
Question of bhava, whatever, whoever is saying no curd in the night, meaning that it's not good for us. So therefore we are careful. Yes. We don't offer curd in the night.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So next week we'll continue. Hare Krishna. Panchakam Patanidascha Kripasinyo Vachapati Pranam.